Beavis and Buttheads. Yep, that's us. Let me explain something to you guys. Why I say that. It's just crazy in this world, man. The government and our politicians are the Beavises in the life, and we're the buttheads for allowing it to happen. We're the ones that allow them to continue on with these frivolous laws that they set and make every day. They have to come up with a new law every day, or or they don't justify their position in the government or their power. You know what we really need is start voting in people and start taking these stupid laws away. When you think about it, do you own anything? You don't own crap. There is nothing in this world that you possess that you own. Nothing. Trust me, the government has a way, or corporations have a way of getting anything that you have possessions of, can take it away from you at any time. You don't believe me? You say, oh, I own my house. You don't own your house. There's families out here that's been on the same property since 1700s. But yet, before even taxes was even invented, and then some group of people got together and made it a law in their little town and little neighborhood that everyone's got to pay a certain amount of money to have us pay for someone to rule us and look over us, tell us what to do and how to live, what we can and can't build, what we can and can't shit in. Think about it. And then if you don't pay your taxes, then they have the authority and the government behind them and the police force that they hire to come in there and take you off and kick you out. Why do they have that much power over you? Because you are you. You're the only one standing. Your cowardless neighbors would not stand up for you in any way, form, or fashion, because they would be hiding in their closets thinking that they're next. Thus, you have a runaway government. You have given everything you have. Our ancestors has given everything that they had away freely. You've given things away that's not even yours to give away. You've even given away your basic human rights that God gave you, and you're willing to give it away instead of standing up for it. So don't cry and whine when you find yourself with nothing. He said, that's all right, Jim, I don't want anything. I'm just going to sell it all and move into a van and live by the river. Yeah, okay. How's that working out for you? Well, number one, if you can even find a river to park next to that's not crowded and pushed you out already. Trust me, even if you think you're out in the middle of nowhere, there will be an authoritarian, a cop or a game warden or somebody that thinks they have authority will come by in the middle of the night at 3 o'clock in the morning, pound on your windows until you get the hell off. Move along. I know, I see it every day. Every day. You're down and out. You don't have a dollar. You've been kicked out of your house. You lost every single possession that you own, and you become homeless. You now can't even get a job because you smell so bad and you don't have no clothes to go to work. You have to crap underneath a tree in a bucket or in a bag. Throw it away, and that's if you're being good. The way nature says to do it is bury it 6 inches underground. Don't bury it down any lower, and don't bury it any shallower. At 6 inches it will recycle. Bet you didn't know that, did you? Look it up, do your research. It's interesting what you can find when you Google something. Yeah, but Google it. I mean, you know, it's even out there on, I'm sure it's out there. Google something like, what do I own? I don't know. Find, like Google, like, what do I really own in this world? Wish I had my computer, I'd do it right now, just see what it said. But some of you, you know, do little catchphrases like that and report back to me. Put it down there in your comments, what you come up with and what you found. Tell me if I'm right or wrong. Guys, the only way that we could regain it back basically would be a revolution. That's where we the people stand up for we the people. We the people vote in we the people into the government that has our agenda. Instead of these whacked out agendas you've been seeing coming in our government for the last 15 years, 20 years. Start coming up with our true agendas. Like, number one rule is to get rid of all these stupid laws. Give the land and the people and the monetary values back to the people where it belongs. Go back to the gold standard on your investments and your money. Because honestly, you don't know anything. They'll even steal your money. And that's exactly what they're trying to do right now. They're trying to get everything to go digital currency. To where all they have to do is flip a switch and you don't even exist no more. Now I'm sure most of it's probably just crap where people's, you know, made it look, appeared to be right. But they talk about even this shot that they get, you know. I don't know, I haven't tried it. But there was one lady that had this little device. I saw a thing on YouTube. This lady had this, like, I guess it was like a chip reader or something. And they held it up to her arm where she got her shot. And a bunch of numbers come across of it. So they said it was identified. There's people out there to prove that it's in there by hanging a magnet on their arm. I'm sure that's all hoax and bullshit, but it's possible. You never know. If you read in the fine prints and even in HUD and all the stuff in the government, I mean, it's written down. In 2021, we will be tagged. And that's exactly, I mean, who was it? The very first person I ever heard of even mentioning this COVID-19 stuff, what was Hillary Clinton, wasn't it? Way back when. Then you had, who was it? Bill Gates, you know, started investing and talking into this stuff and softening you up and bringing it to, you know, to the people, so they, you know, it's not a total shock and rebellious. What they do is they keep putting little thoughts in your head They're not going to tell you they're going to do something because they know they would start a rebellion and everybody would turn against them and then they would start riots and they would destroy this country. So what they do, they control you by the method of whispering in your ear. Such a small amount, but they do it over and over and over and over and over until you literally think it's your idea. They coach you and direct you into the idea to where you actually think it's your idea, and they're like, ha ha, I got a great idea, guys, let's do this. And everyone knows you're too stupid to figure it out. They're like, you know what, that's not too bad. Just like the aliens, you know. Hey, let's talk about aliens for the last 100 years. Since the 40s, they've been crashing out there in the desert. We've got pictures and everything floating around. Is there aliens? I don't know. There probably is, but who cares? Do we go to war with them? Have they bothered us? Is that what they called the gods back in the day? Who knows? I mean, who knows? But even if it's true, or even if it's not true, they're just softening you up so you'll be able to accept it when the big reveal really comes out. That's all. That's what I'm saying. And that's the way they work this stuff. You know, they make it think it's your idea, or they make it a game, or they make it into a TV series. I mean, look at Star Trek. All the stuff back in the day, you know. Let's see, what else can we look at that's like that? All the movie theater, all the movies are like that, you know. They all got special messages that they're trying to enforce and to whisper in your ear with. And it's to me, it's all satanic, you know, operations. You know, they put special codes in there. They flash things across your eyes. It's been proven, this fact. You know, that they could take, it was a big thing, man. They take a record player and play it backwards and get you a message off of it. Now, some of you kids don't even know what that is, but people my age sure understand what that was. Same thing as watching a movie in a theater, and all of a sudden there's just such a quick, they'll put one little frame of a message inside that movie, and you can't even, with the naked eye, you can't even see it or even tell it was even there. It was so fast your eyes couldn't even catch the blink. But it got into your head, your subliminal mind got it. And that's how they sold popcorn and everything else. Hey, you're hungry. Boom, you know. You want to eat popcorn. And they'll do popcorn 20 times in that movie. And before you know it, you're thinking you need to go get you some popcorn. That was a great original idea, Jim. Or, man, I sure am thirsty. You get it? And then they charge you $5, $6 for a popcorn. $20 for a popcorn and a Coke. That's the way corporations, you know, manipulate you and take advantage of you. They do that with your houses. They do that with your cars. You buy a car, and yeah, you might not pay for that car. Try not putting tags on it one day. Try not paying your taxes on it one day. See how fast you drive that car. And if you try to drive it, yeah, there's people that tries to push it out there. But you know what? They usually end up going to jail and losing their car anyway. They'll show you that part. Which they have the right to. They do. In my opinion, they do. That's a God-given right to travel across the world. You have that right. God designed this world. You only own a 3 foot by 3 foot square space. You own and claim your world of the ground and the area that you actually possess and stand on at that moment. And that's continually moving possession. So everywhere you stand, I don't care who, where, why, or what you're doing there, if you're physically there, that's your property. And that's your space. That's the way it should be. I mean, back in the day, they would, they said, all right, well, we got all this land that, it's out there. Anyone wants to go out there and homestead it, just go out there and put your stakes on there and claim it as yours. Yeah. All that's saying is, hey, I'm taking over this land. I'm going to be taking care of it. But does it really say that you own it? Does it say John across the way can't cross over it because you now got your stakes there? Is that fair? No, it's not fair. Let's say you're blocking his passageway to water. He's got to have water to survive too. Is it right for you to block it off? Instead of being neighborly and saying, hey man, let me help you carry that water back to your place. Or let's dig a ditch across this property here and run you a pipe across there where you can draw it right out of the lake. Or right out of the river. Let's pop you a generator down inside that river so you can generate power enough to turn your lights on at night. This is what's meant to be. This is the kind of people and attitude that God wants us to be. It's helping our neighbor, loving our neighbors as ourselves. What would we do if it was us that needed that water, or us that needed that power? Would we not want someone to be kind to us? Or would you throw your hands up, give up, and walk away and moan and cry and commit suicide because the world's against you? Understand what I'm saying? So people, they just don't get it. So what are we going to do with this? What's the world coming to? How far are we going to allow it to go on before we start to, to push back a little bit? If you're in an authoritative position that works with the government or to work for a big corporation as their muscle man, when it hits the fan, are you still going to stand by that corporation and kick homeowners out of their house? You going to stand by that bank and go and repossess homes and kick families out to the street because and that bank sits there and laughs? The people paid on that house for 40 years. They've already paid that house off 5 times already. But because of the name of interest, which they set, they're so now saying that they still own the house and that you're going to pay them even more. And if you don't, we'll just kick you to the curb. Let you suffer a little bit till you get back in line. How much more are we going to put up with? We have designed ourselves to become slaves and be happy doing it. And they're going to do it right down to convincing you of any way and every way they can possibly control your life. They're going to put that authority on their hands, and you're going to suck it up and live with it. So if you think you're going to hide and crawl back into a cave somewhere, you might for a while. They'll find you. They'll find you. Think you're going to put up a stockade to block them off? No. All your friends and your neighbors, hell, even your son, if he works for the police, is going to come after you and kick you back out to the street because he's going to have to. Because he's just as scared as you are. He's as scared of losing his job. So he's going to stand up what they ask him to do, and he's going to come out there and repossess your house and kick you out to the curb just so he can keep his job. And he can keep his part of the enslavement. He might hate it doing it, but he's going to do it anyway. That's how that's the kind of brainwashing that we've gotten done. That's the lack of respect for the human being, for each other. A lack of compassion. So the world's really, really going to get tough. And you know what? it's going faster and faster and faster as it is. Look how much we've lost just since this new presidential body has moved into place. Look at all they've done. They're so toxic about it. They're still after the guy. They're still trying to destroy him, and he's gone. What kind of waste is that? That's your tax money doing that. That's your tax money they're throwing out the window. When he's proven, and everybody's proven, that they're just as corrupt, if not more corrupt, than he was. I don't care how you believe, right or left, I don't care. That's not what this is all about. This is just saying that you allow the corporation or the party, one or the other, all their agenda is to control you. You need to get that out of your head and start controlling yourself and standing up with each other, your next door neighbors, and help them control themselves and back each other up instead of trying to suppress each other. If an army come attack, your neighbor, are you willing to pick up your gun and help that neighbor, protect his farm and his peoples and his persons? Is he willing to help you do the same? Don't give me a law. There has to be some law. There is, and it's okay to have, humanity laws, just to keep people safe. I get it. You're not going to get rid of all of it because some of the laws actually are good. It makes sense. But you shouldn't even have those. I mean, you shouldn't even have to have those because you should be raised enough to where you have common sense, to where you know better. You shouldn't have to have a government tell you give you a checklist of this, and this you're allowed to do. You should already know that you're not supposed to do that just for being moral. But yet we hide and we hide and we hide of our sins. Remember the old saying, put your skeletons in the closet, shut the door and forget they're there? How many people in this world has a packed full closet? How many people in this world in the last 25 years opened that closet and let it all hang out? Come out into the world and expose all your sins and all your crazy weirdness. And then find out there's others around you that has done the same and has the same mindset and the crazy weirdness you do. So you all gang together and start throwing parties and parades about it. I don't get it. Then you make more laws so everyone else has to believe like you believe and accept it and say it's not sin anymore. That it's acceptable. Sure, you can go into the girls' bathroom, sling your thing flying around, claim, well, I'm feeling my female side today. Get off of that, man. You don't even know who you are? Don't even know what you are? All you gotta do is look down. Actually, don't even have to look down, just feel it. If it's really confusing, go have a DNA test done. DNA test will tell you what it is. I'm sure, I know there's people out there, don't get me wrong, I get it, I understand it. There's people out there that has, both, of the sexual genitalia. I get that. I understand that there is people out there like that. I understand that. It's not that they're freaks. They're just special and different, that's all. Those people can still tell what they are. All they have to do is go and get a DNA test. The DNA test will tell you what you were meant to be. Because I really don't think both sides will be viable. One will be dormant and one will be useless. Now, I don't know. I'm not a doctor, so I don't know that. Can a person have both women sex organs and men's sex organs and get themselves pregnant? Never heard of that, but like, is it possible? I'm not going to put nothing beside it. I'm not going to say it's not possible. But if you were born that way, God's got a purpose for that. He's got a reason for that. I mean, and for things that's gone on wrong, and people, just like when you're pregnant and you have a miscarriage or something like that, your body, that's a godly thing. That's usually why you have abortions, because your body tells that something's wrong with that child, and your body will abort it. But that doesn't give you the right to choose that on your own will. That's God's choice to abort. That's not ours. Ours is to preserve and save life. Because anybody and everybody that has a chance of life deserves that chance. And it should be protected by all of us. We all should stand together and stand behind that. I mean, I remember back in the day when they pushed that, Roe versus Wade thing, I remember that. You know how they got that through? Claiming of the 0.00001% of the population that was raped or has a medical issue, and they have to abort that child to save the mother's life. That's what it was all meant for, was to protect her. That's how it all passed. That's how you got all the Christian side and all the moral people to even consider voting for it. Now they use that as candy. Yeah, I can be promiscuous and go out and screw anybody and everybody I want. I can go and get pregnant every single day if I want to. I'll just go by and get the morning after pill, or oops, I forgot that. And you know what? I can't believe that I just had an orgy and ended up screwing 50 guys at a big gangbang. And I don't even know who the father is, but yeah, I got pregnant because, stupid me, I forgot to take I forgot to be on birth control. I can't believe the man was so irresponsible and didn't have his jacket on. Come on, guys. Girls. Be serious. Think about what is really going on in this world. This is the sadness and the disgustness that our country and our people has become. This is why we're paying the price we are now. This is why our country and our world is falling apart, because God's had enough of it. And He's going to allow you to destroy it and put you right into hell on His own. He's not going to have to smite this world. You're going to do it for Him. All He's doing actually is sitting up there just crying His eyes out. Just heartbroken of the stuff that we do. He says, yeah, well, the law doesn't count no more. I get that. I understand that as well. I understand truly the reason and the method and the ideal way of finding your way to Christ. You're only in one way to be saved. I get it. I understand it. I know it well. To you. But it still does not give us a right to not use the laws. The laws was given to us. The laws was used as a judgmental tool to see if we were really moral enough to be in heaven. That's what they were. But God himself had determined that that was impossible for him to see our beauty and to accept us in because we were full of sin. So that's why he sent Jesus to die on the cross. That was his grace. He gave us Jesus. He gave us the Lamb to wash our blood away, to wash our sins down. But he didn't take the laws away. The laws, instead of becoming a condemning tool, they now should shine as what they were really meant to be, and that was what? An encouraging tool to help us be a better human being, to be a better person, to walk more holy. We should be proud and try to achieve to follow these laws. Because they're not laws, they're instruction manual. Is to help us and teach us to be better people. The parables, all of them, is there for us to learn from and to teach us to be better people. And you know what? We're going to fail miserably on it every single day. I get that, so does God. That's why you are forgiven every single day. You don't even have to ask. I don't feel you do. As long as you stay focused and you keep your mind on God and you still accept the grace and the glory of him giving you salvation, you're saved. I don't care what kind of sinful mess you get into. You're saved. But you have to do that innocently. You can't purposely go out and do that and say that you are, because now you're rebelling and you're turning away from God. You can give up your salvation because you turned away. You're the one that chose to walk away. Because it's free will, guys. All of us has that choice. Now, God also knows the devil's going to push you and push you and push you to where you blind you enough so bad to where you have actually turned away. But did you do it on purpose? Or was you manipulated into and just sort of let things slide and it just sort of overcome you, and now you look back up and you're like, oh man, where have I come? What have I done? You're still saved, trust me. God understands that. That's why he says, nothing and nobody can rip you out from the hands of the fingers of my hands. Nothing. God will always be there and love you. If he's called you once, he's given you grace to be saved, trust me, you can always turn and come back. No matter where you floated off to. I stand my own faith on that. I believe that with all my heart. Because that's the only chance I'd ever have. Because I'm the kind of person that does sort of float off sometimes. I have done that. That's what happens when you're a curious old man, Curious person altogether. I've been that way ever since I was 10 years old. Do I do it on purpose? No, it's just my adventurous soul, I get in trouble just trying to be good and kind to people. I can do that. That's almost impossible, but I can truly do that. It's tough. It's tough out there in the world, especially being a Christian in today's day. So much false prophecy out there, so much different things that people are throwing down your throat, and you don't quite understand it, and you just give up and walk away from it all, thinking it's all just a bunch of, smoke and mirrors. Which it is. But read your Bible. If you can't read, there's an Audible Bible out there now. Get it, plug it in, listen to it. Not just once. You can't just read the Bible one time and throw it down and say, yep, I read it. I know it all. You got to study that. It's just like a math test that you studied out of a certain book. You're going to open and crack that book open, and you're going to read it and 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 read it until you get it, until you can pretty much requote it back to them, word for word. And then on reference point, you should know that book enough to go right to wherever you need to go to confirm what you thought you read. That's what the Bible's for. And for a non-Christian to read that Bible, it don't make sense to them. They're spiritually not in that mode to be able to do that. People say, well, the Bible, I was saved from the Bible, Gideon Bible I get that. I've seen that happen. I know people that's happened to. I've referred and reached out for one of those Bibles on my own. I understand that. I understand the power of the Bible. But the thing is, at that moment in time, your mind, your inner spirit is crying and calling out to God or his whoever at that time, because you don't even know who it is. But you know there's a higher power, and your spirit is calling out to that to save you and rescue you. So your spirit is guided and tells you right where to find the truth word into where you can actually read it and understand it word for word. Most people have to see that and read it on their own to believe it. So I get the Gideon Bible ship, and trust me, I'm the first one that will give you a Bible. If I can find it and I can get it, I will pass it out. Trust me. I've done quite a few of them in my life. I believe in giving a man the tools that he needs to do his job and to be the best he can be. That's why we got to stand up, and we got to support our ministries that are out there. You find a ministry that is walking straight and walking cool. Support them. And when you want to give up supporting it, double your support and give it more. That's the devil smacking you in the nose for it. Are you willing to bleed for God? Are you willing to take the punishment and take the abuse and take the beating? Do you think I don't take abuse and I don't take beatings for what I do out there? Believe me, I get my butt kicked on a daily basis. And all I do at the end of the day, and I've gotten good, thank you, Lord, can I have another? And then that's when God snuggles with me, controls me, and tells me he loves me. That's when he sends an angel to me and breaks my heart. Because I just can't believe the miracle that just took place. Or I can sit back and I can watch one of the little ones that I've helped. And the little girl that I saved, or the little boy that I saved. It could even be a 50-year-old little girl or little boy. But I see it actually sink in and get it. To where I saw them before, and they were just nothing but a broken mess on the verge of death. That's my miracle. That's my payment. That's what fulfills my soul. That's my cup being filled up and running over. The joy that comes inside of me is almost sinful to even accept it. And you try your best not to even accept it or even acknowledge it, but you can't. It just wallows you to death. It's like a little 2-year-old just giving you hugs. Have you ever had a stranger 2-year-old just come up and give you hugs? That's what I'm talking about. Wow, where'd this all come from, huh? I don't know. I was just seeing some of the news that's in the, it's in the news out there, and watching the world fall apart, watching the stock market and everything else just beat people to death. Sit and listen to people talk about stuff, and just, you look at them and you're like, really? You think that way and you believe that way? Really? And you cry for them. You really cry for them. Yeah. It's like, my goodness, man, open your eyes, You see someone that struggles and struggles and on probation, and just in 2 weeks, all they have is 2 weeks left. And they're done free and clear. And then all of a sudden, bam, they mess up, and it's like, why? You could have tied yourself to the bed for 2 weeks. You could have fasted and starved for 2 weeks and gotten through it. I don't get it. I don't understand that. But that just goes to show us how destructive we really are to ourselves. And anybody and everybody around us that loves us. Guys, the ministry has been extremely active. It's getting extremely expensive and hard for me to even consider what God has asked me to do. That's sort of why I've rebelled to not even do anymore, or to even run away from it, or consider giving it up. And I mean, all these thoughts have come to my head, but my soul will not give up. I have to give every single penny that I have. I have to beg, borrow, and steal everything I can possibly get to make it work, because these people deserve that. They deserve to be saved. They deserve to be rescued. They deserve to have someone stand beside them and say, I got you. I hold your hand. We'll get through this. Together we'll get through it. And not run away. And you find someone that has that much commitment for another human being, I'll tell you, it's very, very, very rare. But unfortunately, every one of them that I've ever seen that has that, has nothing. And has to struggle. And I didn't even understand the struggle and the nothingness, because most of the world has to see that it's not you that's done that. Because if they look logically at you, there is no way that you could possibly have done that on your own. So you can't take claim for that. You have to shine God out through all that. So trust me. Love You Ministries. Support them. Keep them to where they have anything and everything they possibly would ever need or want. Because, every single penny, every single dollar, every single item is going to go right back out there into the world. And you see a ministry that uses and abuses it for their own luxury and their own, fortune. God should knock them right to the ground. And yes, there is some evangelist out there, what I'm talking about, that's got billions and billions and living in, big giant mansions. I don't. I drive a 20-year-old or 21-year-old van. It's got over 600,000 miles on it. I live in a simple 3-bedroom, 2-bath house that I raised, 2 kids in. The house is 21 years old and everything in it's falling apart. It definitely is in dire need of a new kitchen and 2 new bathrooms. And even some drywall on the edges and the corners. because with 2 kids, you know what I'm talking about. You got that 3-foot black streak mark that no matter what you do, it's worn out. I mean, even the texture on the walls is worn out, where they rub their hands against it and swing around the corners and holding on to it. And you get what I'm saying. The carpeting is so old and ratted and tatted to where it just had to come out. And now even in my worst age, where I can't get down and do the work, I have to put flooring down. We're getting it slowly but surely, but it's been almost a year's project just to be able to do the main portion of the house, and we're about 3/4 of the way of that, and start on the bedrooms. And that's not even that. I'm not even thinking that far out, but just trying to make it somewhat modern, to where it's not so outdated it's not worth anything. But yet the bathrooms, I'm serious, the tiles are falling off the walls. You know. The drywall is worn out to where you wash it so much you wash the finish right off of it. The roof's almost 22 years old. Yeah, God's been blessing it and keeping it in fairly good shape. It's not blistering like everybody else's. It actually don't look too bad. But I mean, no one's up there walking around on it all the time and and beating it down. And it's had the dome of God's love cover it. To where it protected to keep us dry and safe. But yeah, it's getting worn out and tired like I am. And to be able to do that, I have no clue where that money would ever come from. None. I've given everything I've ever made to this ministry. I am tapped out completely. I have given every single thing that I have possibly possessed. I have given every single dollar that I've made in the last 20 years to this ministry. My wife, her salary is what we live off of. Every single thing that I acquire and I produce on my own has gone to this ministry. And she even tithes to my ministry out of her money. Very generously. But that just shows you how much it really takes to operate it. So if you do have money, help. I need your help. I really do. It's that bad. You're really, really, really needed in this world. Especially in today's age. But we have success stories every single day. This ministry has touched literally thousands of people. It's rescued thousands of families. Kept them from being homeless. Kept them in vehicles and things to where they were able to get back and forth to work and save their jobs and to where they continue to make money. I've given to people that had a lot more on paper worth than I did. Because I see someone that maybe lost their transportation or lost their job, and now they're about ready to lose their entire life because they're struggling just to put food on the table because they're without an income for a while. Until they find a new job, they need help. Yeah, they might be driving a Lexus. They might be living in a $500,000 house. But you know what? You might have equity in that kind of stuff. But what are you going to do? You can't just sell it. And if you don't have a job, you sure ain't going to refinance it. So the poor people need some help till they get back on their feet. I've helped people like that. I paid their mortgage for them. I've done whatever I could do to save them. Because they're that important to me. It's easier for me to save them now than it is to completely rescue them once they went all the way back into the woods. When you get back into the woods, that's the hardest ones to get out. Because now it doesn't cost me a little bit, it costs me a lot. Now I got to come up with a whole car. I got to come up with, with repairs on that car to get it roadworthy. I got to come up with food to feed their family of 5 or 6 kids. I got to come up with now rent, not 1, not 2, but 3 months in advance. And deposits on electric and deposits on water and so on and so forth. You all know what it is. You know what's out there. So you see what it takes? Instead of paying $1,000 worth of mortgage payments for them to keep them in there for a few months, now I got to spend thousands of dollars to stand them back up. Literally thousands of dollars. And it's been a lot. Besides maintaining them and providing what they need out there in the woods when they're out there. Tents, sleeping bags, cooking utensils, cooking stoves, pillows, blankets, clothing, some kind of an air mattress, a tarp for underneath and a tarp for over top. Add it up. That's $7 to $1,000 just to basically set up a family in the woods, and that's on an emergency basis. If you're going to spend $150 at least for a tent, you're going to have 2 tarps at $30, $40 a piece. You're going to have a camping stove. You're going to spend $50, $65 for a camping stove. You're going to have a couple pots, maybe a couple, those washable plates. You're going to have 6 sleeping bags at $30 a piece. Probably a dozen or half a dozen pillows at what? $15, $20 a piece? I don't know. I can't remember. A couple throw blankets, keep them warm. A basin or a couple 5-gallon jerry cans where they can haul water back and forth. Some kind of a water purification system. They can always keep the clean water for them and their kids. Food. Canned foods. Teach them how to eat and cook and survive on nothing but dry foods. Because they don't have refrigeration. And then whenever you get a chance and you can, swing by and it's close to dinner time, swing by and buy them a roast or maybe a flat of steaks or a flat of hamburger or something, and take them out to where they can have a nice hot, good meaty meal or something to put, to stick to their ribs. Give them that little bit of a comfort and smile once in a while, so they don't even that they're not eating soup and beans or rice all day long. Because you love them, you would do that for your family. Well, they are my family, and I love them just as dearly. I've taken food out of my family's mouth to feed them. My own kids, Thanksgiving, Christmas, all the holidays and things like that, they would make special meals for each and every one of them. And we would deliver. That's what we spent with our time. Christmas morning or Thanksgiving Day. We would do nothing but deliver these meals to these people. I'm talking major amount of meals. But we do this as just a family. as just a one-man person that is doing a ministry that God's called him to. I don't have an army of people behind me. I have a few angels that help me along the way financially. Once in a great while, I might have someone that would like to go and watch to see what I do and ride along. Maybe once or twice a year, I'll have someone help me for the day. But it's all me. It's all physical. That's what I do. Love them enough when things start getting calm around me, and I run out of people here. Then God will give me a calling to go on the road, and I'll go take a trip, and I'll drive around and bless people all across this country. I collect prayers for people. There's times and reasons that I do what I do, and it's because God calls me to do it at that time. And when I finally do that, then I truly see why I'm there at that moment. Why it had to be me doing that. Because I cared that much. And God knows that I would never turn him down, no matter what. I would die first before I deny him of what his calling is calling me to do. I give him my last breath, my last beat of my heart, to fulfill it if that's what's required. How much commitment do you have to the Lord? Are you willing to commit to that kind of work? Because you know what? Not any of that gives me a ticket to salvation. Not one ticket out of all of that do I receive. Because works is not going to get you nowhere. Works is the result of God being inside of your heart and in your mind and in your heart in the way that you're brought up and raised, and the way God will blossom inside of you and change who you are. That's what works are. That's a result of salvation. And if you don't have those results, you might want to question the salvation. Because truly everyone that I know that's truly saved and believes and has repented and turned, they might be slow at the start, but if they have any time on them and they're still committed, every one of them's got their little unique thing that they do that is powerful for the Lord. And they do it with everything they have. And if you don't do that and you don't have that, you may want to sit down and have some prayer time and find out what God can use you as and get involved, because honestly, that's your blessing. The walk is what your true blessing is. That's the reason that you walk, is the relationship that God wants to have with you. It's not going to heaven. It's the relationship right now, today, doing his work, being exactly who you need to be here on this earth. That's your joy. That's your reward. That alone is what will break your heart. That alone is what will heal your heart. That alone is what will keep you breathing when you think you're on your last breath. I truly feel that's why God has blessed me and healed my body in such a way to prove that he wants me here. I've had miracles happen inside of me. Not once, not twice, but 3 times. I'm sorry. Guys, I love the world, because the world's fallen. When they're down on their luck and they're down on the bottom, that's when they need the most loving. When your children is finally rebelled and broken and given up, remember, that's when they need you the most. When you look at a homeless person or a drug addict or someone like that, remember that that's someone's daughter, that's someone's son, that's someone's husband or wife that has been pushed away because they kept doing their addiction over and over and over, and people believe in this tough love crap, so they push them away, and they break their hope, they break their loss, they're no longer worthy of their time or effort. But that's someone's love. That's what they truly, that's what they deserve. Because if it was us, we would deserve that. We would ask for that. Love them anyway. That's all I can say. Yeah, they'll take advantage of you. They will. I promise you that. But you can't be judgmental. Remember, your commitment, your job is to give. Once it releases from your hands, you no longer have control or even your desires of how it's to be used or spent is any of your concern. God gives you the blessings and rewards for you opening your hands and releasing it with faith. That's why most people don't support ministries, is because they get it in their mind to where they want to control that dollar down to the last time, right up to the point to where the government takes it in taxes. See what I'm saying? If you're a good steward and you have money and you have the ability to make money, not only is it your responsibility to support and to make sure ministries like that stays fluent, but maybe even to help teach or even offer a teaching course for your ministries that you're walking beside of, to give in a reference to say, hey, call John over here, he's going to teach you, or call Carla, call Joe, whoever that person might be, call them. They're offering to sit down and teach you how to be good stewards with your money, how to earn money, how to treat money. If you succeeded and you've got the millions, you have this knowledge. You have a called ministry, because most people can't do that. So by all means, think about what God can use you as and offer that. Become that Dave Ramsey of the world. Just because there's one Dave Ramsey doesn't delete you from being that as well. Because each one of us should be able to have that kind of base knowledge in our hearts and our minds. How many times do I have to teach people to relive their life and to give them advice and teach them how to hold a job and teach them the trades that I know? And to literally teach them and prepare them and buy them the tools and teach them how to use their tools so they can earn a living. I still do that today. Even though I can no longer do that work, I'm still able to teach them that work. I hope understanding the ministries, I hope I'm making sense to you. I hope it's actually absorbing a little bit. You know what? Probably there's 0 people probably listening by now. I'm sure of that, because I'm a long-winded, and I can do a 45-minute video and my analytics says that people only watch less than 8 minutes of it. So I really wonder how many people actually listen all the way through. I would hope it would hit the world and every single one of you out there would listen to it all the way through. Not once, but maybe even 2 or 3 times. Till you truly understood what I'm saying to you. Because when I give you advice or give you teaching, I try my best to make it to where you can understand it. And I give it to you in such a way that I can show you the true passion that you should have to carry that. And that's my goal anyway. And to have enough faith and trust in me to tell you the truth. Anyway, guys, I think it's time to close this one off. So I'm going to end this video. Be sure to hit subscribe, ring the bell, hit like, comment, all that kind of stuff you're supposed to do. Oh yeah, I'm supposed to start smashing the lens of the camera. I believe when I turn the video off, I think that's a code for it to go viral, or to grow. Everyone that I've ever seen that's been popular on YouTube does that. I'm trying to learn. I don't know. I mean, who really wants to watch an old man, right? That's why I turned the camera around. At least now you can see the families walking out there and enjoying their life on the weekend. So they're a whole lot more interesting than I am. Remember those little ones right there? That's why we do what we do. Those are who we're protecting. Those are the ones that we're trying to change their lives. And if it means for me to stand behind that man right there to make sure he's a good father and can provide and give him hope to get him out of a troubled time in his life, that he continue on, and when it's his turn to step up to the plate, he'll remember what someone did for him one day. And he'll be a little bit more compassionate to do the same for someone else. So my goal is to hopefully one day change this world one person at a time, one soul at a time. That's all I can do. And hopefully that person will change 2, those 2 would change 5, those two would change 20, and so on and so on and so on. I truly believe that's how it works. Or at least that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So, what does God got planned for you? Strike up some conversations in the comments there. Let me know what kind of content you would like to hear about. If there's any questions or anything you'd like to ask me in the ministry, feel free to write them. I'll do my very best to answer those for you. That's all I can do for you guys. But anyway, hey, God loves you. I love you. You know that. I'll have all the description of all my avenues to help the ministry out. I'll have that in the description down there for you. So feel free to do what you can to join with me and become part of this ministry. You're the most valuable part, because you're the one that allows me to continue on doing what little but I do. You're the reason that I'm out there. You're the reason I can be out there. So God bless each and every one of you. I love you. Have a great day.